Hey everyone, it is October, which is wild. It's my birth month. It's going to be Scorpio season at the end of the month, so I'm definitely feeling that sort of shift towards the end of the year. But September was still a very hot month where I live in LA. We had 2 heat waves. It definitely still felt like summer. It's still warm, but you know, that's how it is in Southern California. But there are definitely some shifts I've been making in my skincare, in my makeup, in fashion overall. So you'll see that reflected in my favorites. I've done a lot of makeup content, but I haven't done much fashion or skincare lately. So I thought I would start there with jewelry, actually. So the first couple of pieces I'm actually wearing right now, the first one is this ring, and it's a beautiful, I don't know what the stone is, but it's this beautiful blue ring. It's from Dean Davidson, and this style of ring is called their Plaza ring, but they just came out with this blue color, and I just think it's so stunning. I don't really wear a lot of blue. I don't wear a lot of cool tones in general, but something about this really intense pop of color, that jewel tone, has been really calling my name lately. So I've been really enjoying this as a statement piece. And I am pairing it with a moonstone ring that I got many years ago. Sean got this for me years ago. So that's not new, but I'm also liking the trend of mixing metals, which you'll see in my necklaces. So these are both by Ready Made Jewelry, and they're probably my favorite affordable jewelry line. They're affordable, but I don't know exactly what their metals are, but they don't bother me. So I have very sensitive skin. I often have allergic reactions to not pure metals, but I don't with their necklaces. So this is their silver paperclip chain, and this is their gold pendant on a gold chain. I'll link everything below. I just feel like this necklace especially is very me. It's just a very simple statement. It's not too flashy, but it just adds a bit of edge to an outfit, and paired with a textured chain like their paperclip chain, I've just really liked the look together. So that's some jewelry that I've been loving lately. Moving into skincare, I have a few new things that I'm absolutely loving. So the first is this beautiful essence. It's by Biro, and this is called their Tea Time English Breakfast Tea Essence. And this is a biphase essence. So you'll see it has like the liquidy part on the bottom, and this white part on top is this like creamy, oilier part of the essence. So you shake it up and you mix it all together before you use it. So even though it has that creamy top, once you mix it all together, the overall texture is just very fluid and hydrating. And it does smell like English breakfast tea. I don't think it has additional like synthetic fragrance, but it does include black tea and kombucha, and it's meant to restore, plump, and moisturize. So yeah, I've just really enjoyed adding in this hydrating layer in the morning as well as the evening. It's watery, it's not too oily, so it doesn't add too much heaviness to my skin because I am combo, but it adds that extra little drink of water. And if you want to do a few layers of this, it's beautiful for that too because it sinks in relatively quickly. Then I finally got around to trying the newly reformulated Klairs All Day Airy Sunscreen. And the original Klairs SPF was one of my all-time favorites of all time. So the SPF scandal of, what was that, 2020, was very upsetting to me. They've since reformulated this sunscreen, and it has pretty much the same texture as the previous version. It is a really light gel consistency, gel lotion. It spreads out super easily. It feels hydrating, but it's not heavy. There's no added fragrance. It's all chemical filters, advanced SPF filters, and it also is vegan friendly, water-based gel texture, SPF 50 PA 4 pluses. So I'm so happy to have this back in my life. And of course, you know that after they discovered that their previous SPF was not giving the sufficient coverage that it claimed to, I think they've been really rigorous in reformulating this. So if you liked the previous version, if you like Korean SPFs that are lightweight and sheer, you will love this. And the last new thing in my skincare routine is the Naturium Vitamin C Complex Serum. So this is L-ascorbic acid, shockingly, but it also has sodium ascorbyl phosphate, which I think is a vitamin C derivative, as well as a bioactive fruit blend, vitamin E, hyaluronic acid. So the thing that's interesting to me about this vitamin C is the texture. I was expecting it to be like your CE ferulic, that very watery texture, but this actually is housed in what feels more like a gel. You're not gonna be able to see that. More of like a bouncy gel texture that you can see it's not sliding down my hand right away the way a watery serum would. It has that hyaluronic acid bouncy gel feel. So to me, this is hydrating, and it also has L-ascorbic acid, and it takes not a long time, but you can feel it on the skin, and it feels like my skin feels plumped up and cushiony and bouncy after I use it, and I don't need to go in with an additional hydrating serum in the morning after I use this. So I've been really enjoying it. I think the price point, of course, is great, as Naturium skincare is, and I'm really impressed with the elegance of this formula. The last skincare item is an old favorite, and it's my La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm B5. So La Roche-Posay sent this over to me in a very generous restock of some of my favorite products. I think they have reformulated this, at least that's what I hear on TikTok. People ride or die for this product and have for many years. It's not a new product. So I know some people were very upset by it. I feel like it's just as good as it was before. So this is a balm texture, and you can see it's like a white cream. If you're not familiar with this formula, it's like one of the most iconic French pharmacy formulas. So this is a white lotion, and it is rich. It has that balm base, and it also has dimethicones, which can help heal the skin and hold in moisture. And one notable thing about this is it contains zinc, which is what gives it a bit of a white cast, but zinc is actually very healing to wounds, or if you have like post-acne breakouts. The reason why I brought this out actually is because I accidentally over-exfoliated 2 weeks ago, and I went into serious SOS mode. So I cut out all fragrances, essential oils, actives for over a week, and I brought this in to heal my skin, and within a few days I was back to normal. I've been using tretinoin, so I had dermaplaned on like a Monday, and then I used my tretinoin on like a Wednesday, and then on a Friday, I think, I went in with a cleansing balm, and I don't normally remove it with a washcloth, but I did, and the washcloth with the cleansing balm on tretinoin skin was just too abrasive, and I basically took off like the top layer of my skin. It was so bad. I haven't had that happen in years, or like ever, that bad. But this, with a combination of gentle skincare ingredients, really brought me back to life. So for makeup, I have a mix of old and new products. I think I mentioned the Tower 28 mascara last month, did I? I can't remember. I cannot get enough of this mascara. I'm wearing it right now. It is so good. It's buildable, it's fluttery, it's fluffy, it doesn't weigh down my lashes. I can actually wear multiple coats of it. It doesn't smudge on my eyes at all. And it comes off easily without being a tubing mascara or a waterproof mascara, but it still doesn't smudge. It just does everything that I want it to do. I really, really love the wand on this. I've talked about it before. It's a plastic bristle wand. It's slightly curved, but it just never picks up too much product. I don't have to wipe off a ton of product before I go to apply it the way I do with some other mascaras. And it's almost like the older it gets, the better it gets, like most mascaras do, even though it was great when I first opened it. I can't get enough. I think this is my new holy grail mascara. I have been pairing it with a new mascara primer, and this is a K-Beauty mascara fixer. That's what they call them. This is the Etude House Dr. Mascara Fixer Super Long Lash Up Curl Fix Coating Fix. It's a long name. I'll link it below. It's like $5. These are very popular in Korea, and they're not new, but this formula is new to me. So this is a mascara primer. It's clear, but what I love about it is it has fibers in it. So not only does it prime your lashes by holding the curl all day long and giving you a really solid base for other mascaras, it adds these little fibers that allows me to get a very fluttery but voluminous look too. It adds a little bit of volume, but not too much. it just does just enough to get that fluttery lash look while holding the curl, which is really why I turned to a mascara primer. So it's been great. I've used it with every one of my mascaras that I love, and it's been just an excellent addition. I still love my Peri Para Ink Mascara Fixer. That one's better for curl, but this one is curl and volume. So if I want a little more va-va-voom, that's when I use this one. For complexion, I have revisited a very old favorite, which I'm wearing today. It's the Dior Backstage foundation. I wear the shade 2 Warm Olive. This is probably my most repurchased and most used foundation in my life. I've repurchased it and used it since it came out, like 5-6 years ago. And I hadn't used it in a couple of months because I've been using a lot of skin tints and lighter things over summer. But I picked this up again and I just remembered, like, there's really nothing that does what this does for me. It gives me coverage, but it's thin, it's fluid, it's skin-like. Throughout the day, it wears all day and it doesn't get patchy or bunch up or ball up or do anything weird, but it just still looks like real skin. It's buildable to a medium coverage, not full, but I don't really go for full coverage anyway. The shade match is one of my best shade matches, like, in my collection. So yeah, I just have another wave of appreciation for this. Even though I've tested so many foundations in my life in the last few years since this has come out, it remains a top favorite. The newer base product that I've been loving is the Milk Makeup Future Fluid Concealer. I wear the shade 10W. I've been talking about this a bunch. You've seen me apply it in past videos, and I really like it paired with their little sponge. So let me talk about the concealer first. It's a medium coverage. They call it their all over concealer. So it's a texture that, I mean, you can use any concealer all over, but it's a texture that actually does work well for me under the eyes as well as around the face. I prefer it under the eyes to the face personally, but in a pinch, I have worn it all over and it looks great. It's very skin-like, it's creamy, but it's thin. And that's what I like about it, is it has a lot of stretch to it. The packaging is cute, I think. It's in this little silver tube. The Milk logo is clear so you can see the shade of the concealer, and it has this little chubby pointed doe foot applicator, which is actually helpful in getting around the under eyes or around the nose, that sort of thing. People have pointed out that it might be hard to get all of the product out from it. And if that's the case, like towards the end of your bottle, I would probably just pop out the stopper on top. And this little sponge has really grown on me. I didn't open the sponge for like a week after I got the PR package. I was like, it's just a sponge. But this little guy is so soft, it's so squishy. I love the shape of it. It's very pointed, and so I'm able to get like under my tear duct or around my tear duct if I want to get that cleaner, sharper concealer application. Or I can really get in the cracks of around my nose, which I'm finding in my 30s are getting deeper. Shocking. But yeah, the straight edge has been really helpful to blend around my nose and make sure that I'm not over applying product. And then to set the base, I've been loving the Make Beauty Diffusion Set Translucent Pressed Powder. If you like the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder, you will love this. They're very similar, but this I think has more shades. I think it comes in 5 or 6 shades, and I use the shade Translucent Light Medium, which has a really nice yellowy undertone, but this is a very silky, refined powder. I really like it for the under eyes and almost as a finishing powder. It's not super mattifying, so I still go in with my loose translucent powders to set everything, but this just gives the skin a really buttery, soft, velvety look. Your skin looks very refined and soft and smooth and almost filtered when you use this powder. It's also refillable, which I love, so the compact is magnetic and you can pop this pan out and refill it if you'd like. And it has that cute mixed metals, silver and gold packaging, which I really love. They also launched their powder brush, which I've been enjoying as well. It's really weighty, it's soft, but it has a nice, I don't know, like a nice taper to it. It's flexible, but also firm. you know? So it's great for under the eyes. It's also been great for setting around the face. And I've also used it, I have two of these. I've used it for bronzer and blush, and it's great for that too. I just think it's a nice powder brush size. It's not too big. And so it's good for multi-use. Speaking of tools, BK Beauty very generously sent me some of their brushes, and I am in love. The second I used them, I was like, the second I even opened the package, I was like, these are so soft. They're very well made. They're high quality. They're all synthetic. So if that's important to you, these are very high quality synthetic brushes. So I have a few that I love. They sent over, I think, their standard set, as well as their Angie Hot and Flashy set, which I know was designed, it's a face and eye set, which was designed with hooded eyes in mind, which I know Angie has. So yeah, let me tell you about a few standouts from the line. The first standout is my Dream Foundation brush size. So this is the 106 brush. They have two foundation brushes. Actually, they have the round one, and I think this one, which is angled. This is really nice too, but I love the size of this because it's not too big, like the surface area, but it's also really soft and flexible. It feels so nice on the skin. There's no scratchiness. It's very velvety. And the rounded edge really makes sure that you don't have any harsh lines as you're applying the foundation. I also would love a couple more of these because this is an ideal size for me for cream cheek application. I would actually love this for a cream blush application because it's round and dense, but it's small, right? So you can really stamp it onto the cheeks. Just an amazing brush. The other brush that has been my new obsession is the Angie Hot and Flashy BK Beauty A506 brush. I believe they call this the kitten paw brush. So let me give you a closer look. It's sort of fluffy and soft. It's cut at an angle. So it's meant specifically for under eye concealer application and to blend that out. And it's dense, but it has just enough give, especially towards the top of the brush, to give you a seamless blend. I love this brush. I think also because it reminds me of another favorite brush, which is the Real Techniques 242. So this one is not as soft. It's a little bit more plasticky. It is a great option, a more affordable option, but similarly, this is cut at an angle. This one is a little bit thinner, whereas this one has more body and fluffiness and it's softer. But they do a similar thing, which is fit right under the under eyes and they blend out beautifully. I've also used this to blend out concealer around my nose, around pigmentation spots on the cheek. It's just a perfect brush. And finally, for eyes, I am in a new wing era. And I think I haven't been doing wings very much the last couple of years because our lifestyle hasn't been much going out. But also, I feel like my eye shape is changing. I have hooded eyes. I have epicanthal folds, which is technically what they're called. In Korea, you call it a double eyelid, which is where you have a fold and you see it looking straight forward, but mine is on the more hooded side. So the hoods of my eyes with gravity and age in my 30s are changing, and that's normal. And I think that is a beautiful part of aging. I want to embrace that, but it does make eyeliner a challenge, especially because I feel like they're different every day. And the idea of having crooked winged eyeliner really bothered me, or having like asymmetrical winged eyeliner, until I just realized like no one cares. No one looks at your eyeliner as much as you do. And who cares? Like, I like the way it makes my eyes look, and my eyes are two different shapes, and most people's are. Like, no one has truly like real, actual symmetrical features because we're human. So the eyeliner look I've really been embracing is the smoky wing. I've done it a few times on my channel. It's not a precise look at all. It's really just about applying product and then using an angled brush to sharpen up the edges and create the angle that you want. And I've been going for a bit of a straighter eyeliner. So rather than going super high up, I've been going further out. And I think that's really helped and flatters my eye shape right now. The formula really matters. My go-to formula for this is the Victoria Beckham Beauty one, the Satin Kajal Liner, but I've really been liking the shade Bordeaux. It's what I have on now. It's like a maroon. And their latest shade, I can't find it in front of me. I don't know where it is right now, but it's the shade Fig, which is a more purpley plum shade. Bordeaux I go to more, but Fig is a vibe too, and I've worn it a few times this month. So yeah, I think it's a product favorite, but also a stylistic choice favorite that I've really been enjoying. It all sounds very like big in relation to like a winged eyeliner, but actually I think there's been like a lesson in it for me about embracing age and embracing change and embracing the evolution of one's features like throughout your life. And I think that's something that I admire in older people, and that's something that I find beautiful in older people, and it's a lesson to me to learn to love those things about myself as well. Okay, let's finish with a bang. It has been an amazing month for eyeshadow, and there are two palettes that have stuck out to me, which is significant because I haven't had an eyeshadow palette like take me by storm in a long time, and this month there have been two. So the first one is the Linda Hallberg Cosmetics Shimmer Saga. I did a get ready with me with this for, I think it was a new makeup video. This is a palette, a quad of toppers, and it's hard to tell under the lights because they're so bright, the difference between these shades, but they're all kind of shifty and sheer. There's like no base, they're toppers, but they have a gorgeous like crystalline quality to them. They're very twinkly, refined shimmers. So there is a green gold, a yellowy gold, like a warmer yellowy gold, a blue purple, and then like a blue green. And they all look different on the skin. The shade Crush especially has been my absolute favorite. It's just the most incredible twinkle. It flashes a little bit green. There's like an edginess to it, but it's still very wearable. So I think if you're someone that wants to play with shimmer or color, but you don't want to commit to like matte, deep colors, this is a great way to add a little bit of zest into your neutral routine. Or if you love color, like go nuts, this is perfect for that too. Speaking of loving color and going nuts, this eyeshadow palette I think is like one of the best releases of 2022. It's the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 4, and I did a dedicated review of this palette. I did 7 looks. I am shocked at how much I've been using this. I feel like all of my Instagram looks for like 2 weeks have just been this palette because it is so rich, it's so textured and surprising and just so saturated and sexy, edgy. It's inspired creativity for me. And you know, I think this summer I was wearing a lot of neutrals, which is totally fine. I love my neutrals, but especially going into fall, winter, Halloween season, birthday season, holiday parties, New Year's, all of that. It's like the perfect time to have a palette like this. I will say it's not for everyone, and I understand that because the shades are so bright and so colorful. If you don't like color, you may not be comfortable with this. And it is a high price tag, so it's $125 or $29. So you really only want to get this if you absolutely love makeup and color. But that's what I love about it. I will say, I think the duochromes require, for me, a good makeup or a good eye primer or even a glitter glue. So I like the NYX glitter glue. For me, that's like heavy duty, especially if I want these to last because they are so creamy. I've also since realized after shooting that video that the best way to work with these is to, or these water activated shades, is to put water into the pan itself and let it create a little bit of a paste. And that's when it applies best and gives you the best color payoff. I went to the makeup show this last weekend. I was there with Gabby and Pacifica Beauty, and she did a full face of makeup on me, but it was a really cool experience getting to interact with a lot of different brands, and Danessa Myricks was there. And I met her, and she's just even more radiant and beautiful. and generous and kind and inviting and encouraging as you would expect in person. Like, we had a really nice conversation. It was quick, but she just has such a nice like kindness and openness to her. And I really appreciated that, especially because I admire her so much. Like, you know how they say like you don't want to meet your heroes? Well, with Danessa, you do, because she is just such an artist. I really just respect her and admire her work so much and what she's done in the industry. So that's my little like, I had to gush about Danessa Myricks because I met her. But I also love this palette in and of itself, and I loved it before I met her. Okay, I think that's all of the beauty stuff. I wanted to include some fashion things here, but I thought maybe I would do like a fall outfits, fall aesthetics video in terms of like a makeup edit and fashion pieces that I like, not just new things, but an edit of new and old things that I'm bringing together in my like imagined fall, autumn sort of mood board in my head. So I might work on that, because I do have a few fashion pieces that I've been loving and I do want to share with you. But I know this video is probably getting long. My videos are always long. Let me know what your September favorites have been. I would love to hear what you've been using, what's on your mind, what's catching your eye. I know we have a lot of holiday sales, Sephora sales, Black Friday, like all of that is coming. I feel a little anxious for it because as a creator, I want to put out a lot of quality content, but I also know there's just a barrage of new things, like new sets, new PR, new whatever. And as much as I love that, I also try really hard to keep a curated collection. And I also am conscious that we are in difficult financial times. So as always, but especially now as we go into this new season, I just want to say, beauty is wonderful. We all love it. I love it. I'm going to create content around it, but I also am very aware that, you know, times are tough right now for a lot of people and we're all feeling it in different ways, but you should never go into debt for beauty. Beauty will always be there. Makeup will always be there, even though it feels like the new releases feel urgent and holiday sets feel urgent, especially if you're a beauty lover, but you don't need everything. And I just want to make sure that that is a message that's clear as we go into the next month, because it's on my mind too. And I feel it. Like I feel the anxiety in my body when I think about it. But I also want to create great content. So that's the tension that I'm living in. I know we're all living in. Just want you to know I'm right there with you. So I hope you have a great month and I'll see you in the next one.